Good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, depending on where you're at. My name is Edward Blount, and this is my final reflective script on my experience and with my final industrial project and my time here at Ducier University. Um, Starting off, a little bit about me. As I said before, my name is Edward Blount. I am a senior project manager for a company called Abzena. We are a CDMO, which is we're a co-pack manufacturer for um, big corporations that do vaccine manufacturing. So, in short, a company would have a vaccine, send us their technology, and it needs to do a scale up. So they don't have the capacity to make the vaccines at the rate that they need to hit to market. So what my job is to take that technology, build a team, build out a suite or a lab where we're able to perform these operations for them, and we bring it to spec to the same scale that they would do. But now you have two basic facilities now working at the same time, and you're able to get more of your drug to market quicker. So just a little background brief about me. And just my fields of just my expertise is more so around project management and production operations with a background in sales as well and business development. So moving on, um, I had the opportunity to work with a group of, I believe it was six, really, sorry, give me one second, let me just shut my phone off. A group of six really great individuals for this final project. Different backgrounds, um, brought a lot of energy, a lot of dynamic to the team. And I got to learn a lot from everyone. And it was just a very invigorating experience altogether. Who was our client? We had 3SC. 3SC is a partnered business with Ducier Global School of Business, and we had the opportunity to go in and take a look at a lot of Ducier's, not Ducier, sorry. We had the chance to take a look at a lot of 3SC's pitfalls, their strengths and their weaknesses, and just meet the 3SC team and get the initiatives from them on what they would like to get from us as consultants to move their business to the next level. A 1, 3, and 5 year plan, so to say, on growth and market penetration and just overall expansion of the business. So first slide, 3SC. Who is 3SC and what do they do? 3SC is a neurodiverse coaching corporation. So what they do is they train, they teach, and they bring awareness to what neurodiversity is and what it means to be neurodiverse. This is something that I had no idea was even a thing, and part of my ignorance for that. But I am extremely happy that I was able to meet the 3SC team and actually be made aware of a lot of these different things and just how the brain works and what it means to be neurodiverse. So back to 3SC. 3SC is a pioneer when it comes to neurodiverse training and coaching. 3SC's target is to partner with businesses, partner particularly with HR teams, and give training to leaders, managers, supervisors on understanding that the brain does not work in one capacity. That what we see as neurotypical or what we see as a typical thought or a typical way of interacting with something is not always the case. There are other ways that the brain works, and we're getting this growing number of people that think differently and react differently to certain situations. What was once looked at as a negative, like autism or disorder, autism, bipolar disorder, is now kind of changing. We're trying to make people aware that this is not a disorder. This is just a different way that the brain thinks. And over the evolution of time, you'll see that split. So what we're hoping to see, at least this is what I learned from 3SC, is we're hoping to see that the word even neurodiverse and neurotypical will not be a thing anymore. It'll be as simple as left and right thinking. It's just two different ways of thinking about a certain situation or reacting to a certain situation. And what 3SC is trying to do is they're trying to make people aware of this, leaders, managers, on how to approach and how to speak with and how to interact with people that may not be neurotypical. They're neurodiverse, um, and that's the path that the company is taking to move forward. One second, I'll move on to the next slide. So as mentioned, 3SC specializing in neurodiversity. Part of their training to us before we were able to facilitate any kind of services to them as far as helping them out with moving forward is getting more of an understanding of the direction that the company was trying to take, and also what it meant that they wanted to what their business plan was, what it is that they're offering to businesses. So the training that you get with with 3SC and neurodiversity is this inclusion, this understanding of your staff members that may be neurodiverse, how to implement them into everyday work, um, coming up with more strategic platforms that you're able to interact with each individual, and you're not shunning or pushing anyone to the side. We're working in a new manner that we can take the thoughts and the innovation from every individual, and we can actually use this to drive the company forward. And what we're seeing is, a lot of research that we have, is that utilizing people that are neurodiverse and utilizing that thinking outside what we would perceive as thinking outside the box is very impactful, very helpful to just moving and driving business forward. So the team, we got together and we were assigned different positions, different objectives. The objective that I was assigned was sales. And the reason why I picked sales was not because I'm some avid salesman or I think that I'm strong in that field. I know a lot of people picked their objective or their assignment based off of their strengths. I feel like I'm a little weak in sales. I feel like this is an area that I would like to improve on. I feel like this is the area that I need to really hone in and focus on, and I really want to challenge myself and do the research and spend the time do the research, learn other sales strategies, and this was the perfect opportunity for me to do research, analyze where a company's at as far as their sales points and their sales positions, and see what I can do to improve this. What could I do to take my teachings and utilize this and expand on the sales position and the sales strategy that they're at. What we did find was 3SC has a very small sales force. They're very limited in their sales capacity. They're very non-traditional with how they conduct their sales, and rightfully so. They're a neurodiverse company. They believe in neurodiversity. So taking traditional thought process and traditional learnings that I had on how to structure sales and the traditional way of structuring sales, it became a little challenging because to present this and to present structure and a simple way of thinking, or a common way of thinking, or a common way of doing something to a company that thinks outside the box became a little challenging. And it became one of those things where I felt at the time where I was taking a lot of old learning, things that I was learning, what we considered at this point now as an old way of thinking in the eyes of 3SC. And I was more interacting with the individuals at the company and coming up with new innovative ways of performing a sales or a sale or interacting with people to acquire a customer. And it was a very outside the box kind of thought. It felt like it was groundbreaking. It felt like something I could write a whole different research paper on separately that'll cover what this new way of conducting a sales and a sale experience. But worked strongly with the 3SC team, analyzed the different how they did their sales, how they conducted, compared that to a lot of the research that I had on how traditional sales are done and traditional strategies, and kind of bridged the gap and made we kind of triangulated it and came to a common point where we were able to use these traditional methods plus their innovative methods and come up with a new streamlined approach on how a sales pitch should be done, sales follow up, and just sales interaction overall with customers, and how to keep and retain these customers, without going away from the beliefs of 3SC. My job also was to take these findings and bring it back to the team. So we had a weekly meeting cadence that we met every Wednesday, and we would discuss our findings. And this was one of the findings I felt the team interacted a lot with. It was just very knowledgeable, and there was a lot of questions in our meetings based off of this. And I'm no expert, but I did feel very confident in delivering answers on what the findings were. There were two individuals on the team that really took a liking and really honed in on what I was saying. That's Matt and Sam. Matt was in charge of the financial sector of the project. Sam was in charge of, I believe it was market strategy of the paper. And because sales played such a big role in this, it they used a lot of my research, and we worked collaboratively to expand on their sections as well. And if you look at the final paper, also you'll see that there's a lot of similarities in what what we were researching together, what we were finding together, and the paper just flowed really well, especially our portions together. But my role was to identify sales, and one of the things that we did come up with was, as far as sales, 3SC did not have a specialized salesperson. It was more so of a everyone wears multiple hats. And and I even though I believe in your SMEs or your subject matter experts are definitely the ones with the higher business acumen, and you're gonna have, if they're out in the field and they're speaking, they can answer any question right there on the spot, and they can deliver that expertise to any customer. But what you fall short with is, on the traditional sides, there's a follow-up that comes to sales. Salesmen, they have a 2 weeks, 5 weeks, or whatever, a monthly follow-up and a check-in on clients. And I think those are the areas that were missed and lost. So just food, what we saw that we could implement, taking old and new and coming up with a new sales approach. And that was the direction that we took. So the challenges that we faced with us all working collaboratively on a project, I would say the biggest challenge that we had was the difference in time zones. It was extremely hard to navigate with everyone working in a different time zone. That was the biggest burden that we had. People were, and not only just working in different time zones. This project, I would say, by far had it took the most energy than any other paper or anything that I've written. Um, with that being said, this is also the end of the year, and a lot of us working in companies with, we do logistics or we do sales. Um, those final numbers accompany the workload becomes very heavy because the company is looking to finish out the end of the year as strong as possible. So it became very difficult when my life is already difficult trying to balance out work-life balance, but balancing out work life and the additional demand from school, this heavier demand from school, was very challenging. And I'm pretty sure this is a shared thought amongst everyone else. Nonetheless, it, with this challenge became obstacles that we were able to overcome. We were able to develop a very a very strong means of communication with each other. We used Slack, we used cell phones, we've used our meeting times are very flexible. We did our best to meet with each other. We did breakout groups. We did our best to meet with each other, and then we always shared on our major page our findings. So whether someone was not able to make a meeting or they were late, they can always go back, and it was very clear on what the objective was, and what was the result of our meetings. And you would see these periods of time where someone could not make one or two meetings. They would come on the third meeting, and they were right on par with where everyone else was, because we made it accessible that that learning could be caught up at any time. So whether you are Mountain Time or Central Time, Eastern Standard like myself, or even if you were in UK time, you still had a chance to catch up with the team. And our time together was very productive because people had that time to stop and think and read and catch up on what was missed. So when they came to a live session, we were able to jump right into place and move forward. So, key achievements and learning and outcome. One, as I stated earlier, I'm a senior project manager. One of the biggest things with project management is time and delivery. So let's say, like for myself, I have 5 projects that I manage, all different respective time scales they have to be completed. One of the major metrics for myself and for the company is on time delivery of your projects. With this said, it becomes extremely difficult to volunteer to take on someone else's workload. So if you have someone that is out sick or on paternity leave or maternity leave, you're very weary with taking on their additional workload, because it can slow down your stuff, and you start to miss your deliverable dates because you're just spread thin. Um, this project really showed that I am able to take on additional workload, even if it's for a short duration of time. This is 3 months of working with this team, and as I said, it was very intense, and I was able to still hit my key deliverables, at my company, and I just feel more. I just feel like the strength and of just being able to diversify my workload and to prioritize what needs to be done was just heightened and strengthened by this. I really want to succeed. I want to have my master's degree. I also want to be a good father. I have children, so my home balance has to still work. But I want to drive production at my corporation. I have shares there. I feel like I'm a leader in that industry, and I want to set an example. So I do feel that there was no room for failure on any of those fronts, and I was able to make it work. And it was I wouldn't say surprising, but I needed that challenge, and it was eye-opening and very impactful. Um, I do believe now that I'm a stronger leader. There was a ton of work that had to be done. There was a lot of collaborative learning, and I do believe that it has strengthened me and has progressed me forward and has given me the confidence to even take on additional roles at my job. But there's a associate director position that has been up for grabs for a little while, and I was wary about taking it. I was very wary about what it would do to my work life balance. And now I don't feel that way anymore. I do feel that this is a step forward, and I do believe that I'm capable at this point now of doing more than I was a year ago. And I thank all of my professors for that. I thank my team for being very supportive and helping me along the way and just having that collaborative synergy and energy. And I thank Ducere as a whole. And I'm just very grateful and honored to be in this position right now and to finish up this final report. Thank you. I'm Edward Blount. Thank you very much.